And the Chancellor, Rachel Reeves, has been delivering Labour's first budget since 2010. She confirmed she will raise taxes by £40 billion, among a raft of other measures. But tens of thousands of low-paid workers here in the East Midlands will get a pay rise. Well, for more on that, let's join our social affairs correspondent Jeremy Ball in Leicester. Jeremy, you've been getting some reaction there.
Yeah, and a lot of people here in Evington are going to be affected by that rise in the national living wage, confirmed at 6.7% in the last hour. Big questions, of course, about who's going to pay for that, and we've been getting the details in the last hour. I've been watching it with Paresh Patel, who represents workers across the East Midlands for the Union Unite. Paresh, your first reaction?
Yeah, there's some real positive announcements for working people, for industry and for our public services. And so some of the raft of measures that have been announced today by the Chancellor are certainly welcome from our perspective as a union.
That rise in the national living wage, that could affect over 11,000 people here in Leicester. Isn't there a danger, though, that could backfire if employers can't afford it, that people could lose hours or even lose their jobs?
Not at all, and I don't believe that's the case. That's the same type of scaremongering that came about in 1997 when the national minimum wage was introduced. I think this is a real benefit working people. I think you're going to have a lot more people benefit and manage the cost of living crisis better as a result of that increase.
The Chancellor talked about cracking down on worker exploitation. That's been an issue, hasn't it, in this part of Leicester? What difference do you think that can make?
Yeah, I think that will be positive. It will make a positive difference, but it has to be underpinned by enforcement. If you don't have the enforcement there, it's going to mean nothing. So it's important to make this welcome, the announcements welcome, and not just for garment workers in Leicester, but other workers across other sectors across the East Midlands region and beyond. But the enforcement element is really key.
You had a mixed response to the pensions announcement, didn't you?
So I think the pensions announcements were welcome. It's good to see that the state pension is going to increase and rise. Obviously, our concern as a union has always been about the winter fuel allowance being removed. We will continue to campaign until that's restored. But the other issue is around the bandings, the tax bandings. They're not increasing, and therefore that brings more people including pensioners, into the tax bracket and paying more taxes.
A couple of other things. The mine workers pension scheme was mentioned. That'll affect a lot of people in Nottinghamshire. And R&D, you were very pleased to hear an announcement about that. And you represent workers at Toyota and Rolls-Royce in Derby, don't you?
That'll be welcome news for workers there. It'll be welcome news for that industry, because it's about making sure that we move to a just transition from unclean energy into sort of more clean and renewable technology, and having that R&D investment is really, really critical to protect jobs, create jobs and sustain jobs.
Paresh Patel, many thanks for joining us. We're going to be hearing more this evening on East Midlands Today, including from people in the centre of Leicester here, and of course from people running businesses as well. Join us from 6:30 for that.
We will indeed be hearing more.